That's really quite a skill to master. And thinking is the ammunition that powers it. When it comes to ideas, some people just try to be flashy and grab attention with weird new stuff, while others just parrot what others say and follow the crowd. But for people today constantly bombarded by all kinds of media hype and stuck in their own information bubbles, learning to use this brain weapon well, that's really quite a skill to master. At first, they were just chatting about all sorts of anecdotes from school, but as they talked, the conversation drifted to national affairs. By then, China had already been reforming and opening up for years, and all kinds of ideas were flowing into the country. College students are always the most active group, so talking about these things wasn't really that strange. In their discussion, someone brought up the question of whether Western political systems are better than China's. Some people mentioned Western welfare systems, saying they were pretty well developed, and that even people at the bottom don't have much pressure to survive. Then others talked about how if communism were realized, with material abundance reaching a point where goods are distributed according to need, everyone's reasonable needs would be met. But that's when the first group started arguing back, saying communism could never happen. The two sides got more and more heated, and that's when they noticed me standing there without saying a word. One of them turned to me and asked what I thought about the whole thing. Back then, having this kind of argument would have been unthinkable. Just a decade or two earlier in China, so you could say China was already pretty free by then, at least in terms of people's thinking. How did this concept of communism, something that's never truly existed in the world, come about? It was Marx who, through studying history, economics, and other fields, summed up from all the social forms humanity has experienced, that social systems must adapt to production relations, which in turn must fit the development of productive forces. From that he made a prediction about the future. Human civilization has moved from slavery to feudalism to capitalism, and with each step, ordinary people have gained more freedoms. People in slave societies could never have imagined that one day laws wouldn't define some humans as others' property, to be disposed of at will. People in feudal societies couldn't have imagined a future where you could choose your own career relatively freely. So what about the far future? Who knows if it's the end of history, or the end of that end of history idea? I answered them I still believe in Marx. What I believe in is Marx's assertion that history inevitably moves forward. I don't know if the future will actually take the form of communism, but I trust the relationship he summed up between human society and productive forces. That's why I didn't directly answer whether communism or capitalism is better, or whether communism can be achieved. My answer drew a chorus of snickers, like they thought I was just some guy who didn't think for himself, just mindlessly repeating famous people's quotes. Liu Linky, you just believe whatever Marx said? Laughed the guy leading the group. That thought communism was impossible. Well, I could just ignore that.